Yeah.
Well, let's bring in Hoover Institution Senior Fellow Victor Davis Hanson on all of this. Good to see you, Victor. Let's start with this. Broadly speaking, what is your assessment of the president's performance in Lithuania?
Well, it's symptomatic of what we've seen, that he's in decline at a geometric rate. So each session that we see him abroad becomes more embarrassing, and it poses this question: what are the Democratic Party, what are they going to do? And they want him to finish his term, and I don't think they want him to run for re-election. So that explains why we're suddenly getting leaks about his cognitive liabilities, about scandals about the Biden consortium, intemperate treatment of his granddaughter. All of that is designed, I think, to persuade him that he's not going to run again, because I think he would lose, and they're afraid of that. But they don't want him. The logical consequence of all these concerns that they voice would be the 25th Amendment or impeachment or something, but they never go to that next step because they don't want Kamala Harris to take over. So that's kind of they're threading the needle that, Joe, you've got to finish, you're capable of finishing your first term, but not your second. And I think that's where we are, and that's all symptomatic of how he's performing or declining. It's kind of sad, because he's one fall away from losing his presidency right now.
Indeed. Victor, do you think, though, he is not the nominee and does not run next year? Do you think that that's what happens ultimately?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the nominee. I don't think he's going to be able to. And I think they know it, and they welcome the fact that he's not going to be able. And I think that explains why all of a sudden this obsequious and toadish press is leaking everything to his detriment. But notice, if the leaks were to be considered factual and serious, then there would be a movement in the Democratic Party to remove him, as there were for specious reasons with Donald Trump, when they always talked about the 25th Amendment. They couldn't finish a sentence without impeachment. But that's a taboo subject with Biden, not because they're principled, but because they don't want Kamala Harris to finish out his term. So they've got a kind of a very careful trajectory to follow. And the theme is that we, the American people, are not getting presidential leadership, and that's not a concern of the left. Power only is. But we're being humiliated on the national stage, and it's going to have consequences that are already starting to appear with China and elsewhere.
Speaking of China, it's not just the man, it's the policy. And here's Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, on him not being sold on Bidenomics.
Bidenomics, as you said, it's about industrial policy. It's about a bigger role for the state.
Yeah, I'd be careful about that.
Really quickly, Victor, industrial policy is, in essence, massive sums of money spent on subsidies for certain choice industries. And we've seen it before: corporatism, economic fascism, planned capitalism, state capitalism. And it's why this administration admires Xi Jinping so much, admires China so much. And it's a very dangerous road that we're headed down.
It is, and the American people are not stupid. So the latest Associated Press poll shows that only 34% have any confidence in Bidenomics, and that's well below his pathetic 40% approval rating. And why is that? It's because they don't look at the inflation rate per month. They look at it from when he started office, and they see they've lost on staple goods. It's food's up about 25%. And the inflation rate in general is over 12, 15% since he took office. They knew you could get a 30-year mortgage 2.5 years ago for 2.8. It's almost 7 now. They know that we have record deficits, and the debt is getting huge. And with an obsequious press and all of this money spent, you would think that they would be able to artificially pump up the economy to the extent the American people would agree, because they're told how great it is and there's so much money floating around. But they know in real dollars their wages are declining. So whether it's inflation or whether it's the debt or whether it's interest rates, it doesn't seem like it's a very good economy. I filled up today driving across California. It was $5.25 when Biden entered office. California's average gas price was a little over $3. So every time a person fills up a a 20-gallon tank or 25, it's $40, $50. That's a lot of money. And he's oblivious to that. Oblivious in the sense that he knows what he did, so he will drain the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and not fill it back up because he understands it's too expensive to do it. And it was intended for the midterms political theater. But everybody knows what's going on, and that's why they don't like Bidenomics, and that's reflected in the polls.
All right, Victor, I want to ask you about this. According to a new Gallup poll, we have only 36% of Americans having high confidence in higher education in this country, down from 57% in 2015. Trust in public schools, lower grades, even worse, marking an all-time low of 26%. The only group that is confident, you guessed it, Democrats, still a majority, 59%. This seems like an institutional credibility crisis. Inside the academy, are you seeing any signs at all of introspection or a shift in approach, or do they not care?
They care. They're in a panic now, especially where I work at Stanford University, because ultimately what can't go on won't go on. So if they have repertory admissions, and this year, even though so-called whites were 67% of the population, and Stanford admitted 20%, based on racial, reparations, and they didn't require the SAT scores, so they're letting in people who wouldn't have been admitted before, not because of race, just because of qualifications. And that ripples through, guys. So what do you do if you're a professor? You either have to inflate the grades or you have to water down the curriculum. Everybody knows that. That filters out to employers. And then when you have the Stanford Law escapade, or you have the president under suspicion, and this is just one university. So finally, people in the private sector are saying, these degrees are not worth it. They're not prestigious degrees anymore. These people who we're interviewing don't know very much. They're arrogant, and they tell us how we should think, but they're also ignorant, and that's a terrible combination. So with the alumni pressure, they're not giving in the same way they are, and you add on almost $2 trillion in debt for these degrees, and the average year is 6 years, and only half the people graduate that enter a four-year college. So the whole system is not working, and now the public knows it. And the graduates that are turning out are bitter, they're indebted, and they're not competitive. They were robbed of an education, but they were told that they were brilliant, and they're incisive, and they're politically aware, but that's just sort of a sham. They know they're not deep down inside. And so we're going to see more vocational training, we're going to see more technical training, and I think we're going to see a lot more alternate University of Austin, more Hillsdales that'll take up the slack, and I think that's a good thing.
I can't wait for it. Victor Davis Hanson, and I also cannot wait for the next time you're on this program. Thank you, sir, always.
Thank you.